You come in with a certain amount of baggage, right? It's your family of origin. Oh, my dad was really bad about money. My mom was really strict about money. So all these things come to bear. I think it's good to have conversations, mostly so that you can kind of get a sense of, like, where are you coming from? Who are you about money? Does it cause you stress? Is this a conversation that's really hard? And of course, having the conversation before you get married is good, especially if you're spending tens of thousands of dollars. But even if not, if you're going to City Hall to get married, having a conversation where you're talking about, hey, you know what, this is kind of how I feel, or it makes me a little bit freaked out to have these conversations. This is what we're talking about, opening the dialogue.
What topics should we touch on?
Well, this is where it gets interesting. We have something called a balance sheet, right?
Okay.
What you own and what you owe. You're 21 years old when you get married, right, Nate? And
Yep.
what did you own?
Nothing.
Right. That was an easy conversation.
much
Here's what I
all,
own,
a couple
zero.
pair of shoes.
Well, what do I owe? Well, a lot of people come into a marriage with debt. They've got student loan debt. They've got cars they had to pay for. Maybe they have a credit card. You want to air this information.
Put it on the table.
Put it on the table. Hey, how much am I earning? How much are you earning? What do you have? What do you earn? What are your goals? Do we really want to buy a house? Is that something that's important to you? Are we going to have kids? If so, are we going to pay for education? All of these are wide-ranging topics, but you're going to have to revisit it. And it doesn't mean that when you make that declaration of what you want in that moment, it's the be-all, end-all, but you've got to start somewhere.
So let's talk about joint accounts. 38% of couples keep funds only in joint accounts.
I think that the conversation about combining your money versus keeping it separate is really couple dependent. And I think especially if you've gotten married a little bit later in life, and I think that you've had a pattern of managing your money in one way versus another, I think that that's important. Now, I think many couples, what they'll do is they'll have a joint account to sort of deal with the joint expenses, and maybe they'll feed into it. But regardless of whatever system you choose, so if you say joint, we keep it separate, you share the information and you know the system. I mean, look, it is clear that in relationships, we have a division of power, right? We're allocating our labor.
Right.
We're saying you're taking care of the bill paying, you're taking care of the investment. That's fine. But you have to communicate what the system is. You have to communicate where the money is. Where are the passwords to get to these things? If you broke your leg tomorrow and you couldn't get somewhere, you needed me to make a change in your retirement account, how would I do that? So separate is fine, joint is fine, conversations, that's the critical piece.
That's essential.